Here we go. What's going on, everyone? This is Uche and Joku. Welcome to Wednesday night, 10 p.m. And this is time for that episode of the Ivy League Hoodrats. I'm here with my brother Archie Tyson. How you doing, brother?
What up, what up, what up, everybody? It's that time again on Tuesday. Here we go. Let's get it.
Wednesday.
Oh, it's Wednesday. When you have three children, 5-year old, 4-year old, and a 1-year old, and
Yeah,
you taught school and was a principal, and you have the right to be just a little bit crazy.
yeah, bro. Trust me, I know. I am. I don't know why today. I just feel exhausted. I feel like I don't know. I just feel, man. Like, you know what? You keep talking about that trip for years. We've been talking about that trip to Nigeria. I think it's about time, bro.
Oh,
I think it's about
so
time. You know,
it's definitely time. I'm in Houston last week. Um, And we missed everyone last week. I was traveling Houston and New York,
yeah. And I was
right?
and I
But
was I
I
was
was in
sick.
Houston, and I got in the back of I got in the cab. I heard the Uber driver's accent. Hey, where you from? Nigeria. Oh man, me and my man is Nigerian. We've had some triumphs and we've had some troubles, but I'm like, what we haven't done is gotten on that plane and gotten on back across to Nigeria. So I said we've been talking about it. But I said we're gonna make sure 23 doesn't cross without us like making it a possibility. There's no reason we shouldn't.
You know, it's funny because right now, we text earlier today about tonight's topic, and it's funny because it's funny how a basketball player and can have such an impact on a tweet on which he made no comment on, but then everything else that transpired from that point. You know, it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, bro, it's time. It's time to truly make that to book that flight to go and just set ground. Bro, all I want to do is set my feet. I want to put my bare feet into the red sand. That's all I want to do. I want to know that because right now all this whole existence right now just feels so fake. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. Again, we talked about rights, all that stuff a couple weeks ago. I mean, but it makes perfect sense. I mean, our existence here just is fragile.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I mean, again, if you're working for someone, I mean, I work for someone. That existence is fragile, and even if you have your own business, when people come to me, oh, if you're working for someone, that means yeah. Even if you're an entrepreneur, like relationships for which you know, can damage the business that you spent your lifetime building up. That can be taken from you. So our existence here is fragile. It is.
Hmm.
It's much. It's more than one way to lynch a person.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into this tonight's topic. You know,
All right, let's get it. Let's
and
get it.
and I'll say this: my approach to this conversation, because I really want to talk about not necessarily Kyrie Irving on as an individual, but more about the feelings and emotions that's been just bubbling across the tables of debate. You know, and and I mean, full disclaimer: I am not African American. I was born in Nigeria of the Igbo tribe, and I came here when I was about what middle school. You know, but I've been here long enough that I have soaked in African American culture, West Side, you know, Inglewood, California,
Inglewood. Inglewood.
living and working in New York City. You know, my short time in the military down south in the Carolinas. You know, my year living with this brother right here. So I feel like I was living in Memphis in the same household with this brother right here. So, so I've soaked in a lot of the culture. But one thing I've never done is try to perpetrate and say like I fully can understand what it feels and means to be African American. Because at the end of the day, I'm still Uche Chukwu and Joku Igbo, Owerri, you know, Emi, Imo State, Abia State. I was born in Kanu. Like I'm from a space that is very different, you know. But this whole conversation about, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm gonna stop talking after this. When Kyrie said how, you know, I'm paraphrasing about how he could be, how he can't be anti-Semitic because he knows where he comes from. I think a lot of people miss that. So many people miss that line right there, you know. And it's funny because it threw me into a rabbit hole. Like for the past couple of days, I've been pulling books off my shelf, reading, you know, doing deeper dives into my heritage because again, the Igbos are one of those tribes in Africa that there's been a strong question about whether or not, you know, we are Hebrews, you know. So and this is something that's been going on for decades, if not centuries, about that question. So and with that being the case, and knowing that, man, a big population of those who were enslaved from West Africa came through the bright of Biafra, which is Igbo land. So a lot of my brothers out here walking around, you know, we share the same. I share the same genes with them. So this argument of what is Semitic or anti-Semitic or what is Hebrew, what is not Hebrew, what is Jewish, what is not Jewish, is interesting to me because I'm like, what if there's historical context? Why can't people just recognize it for what it is? Brother Tyson, let me stop talking because I feel myself getting mad.
I'm gonna start this as Dave Chappelle started. In no way, in no way possible do I endorse anti-Semitism, anti-whiteness, anti-blackness. I don't endorse misery, pain, or anything on
Amen.
anyone. I think so. I'm like hate speech ain't just not my. It's just too exhausting to hate people. Right?
Amen.
Like you
Amen to
know,
that.
if you ever hate anything, I'm talking about like a football coach or professor, or if you ever hated anything or anyone, or even like a classmate, it's exhausting to actually hate something, right? So if you just have that type of time in your life, I don't understand it. So, uh, like, I don't endorse it as that. And you know, having said that, okay, when he says that he knows where he is from, even these wretched versions of the Bible that are floating around most of these days, after being translated incorrectly multiple times, um, it still portrays Jesus like in like Hebrews or Semites as darker skinned people with hair of wool, right? So he's saying even if like before they even get to the African connection, perhaps, like what are we talking about? He's like, I know who I'm from, like so darker skinned people, brown people, like so that's just one thing. Other thing, you've been here, you've been here long enough to know that you possibly have some cousins on these shores that have been
Oh,
separated by
without a doubt.
generations, right?
Without a doubt.
Um, Now, I found out just for our audience that I wasn't one of those cousins. I thought I was until my brother here let me like try and accidentally holler at this back when I was way back when I was single, Miss Nigeria.
You gonna tell that story?
I didn't know she was Miss Nigeria. It was a lot of beautiful sisters there with sashes on: Miss Nigeria Canada, Miss Nigeria USA, Miss Nigeria America, Miss Nigeria. It was a lot of young ladies with sashes on. But I was wondering why nobody would just she was just gorgeous, beautiful. I was wondering why no one was actually talking to her. And he got us such great tickets. Everybody thought we was somebody because we was sitting up there like on the road with like the president. What's that the major airline, and like you got like crazy tickets, so people thought we were like rich, rich.
Yeah,
So
that's how we
I
move.
no one was, yeah, no one was talking. Yeah, yeah, that's we're not gonna get into that. So no one was talking to us. So I turned around and did my thing, and we went out there and had a drink. Like, and I'm getting to stare down by like all these brothers, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And then I noticed later on she had her sash on, Miss Nigeria. I was like, oh, I see what's happening.
This is not
I'm
Miss
not good. I'm
not
I'm
Miss
I'm
Canada
not good
Nigeria,
enough. No,
not
it's like
American
Miss.
Nigeria. This is Miss
It's
Nigeria.
like it's like Miss Nigeria. It's like, oh no, oh I'm not good enough because I'm not Nigeria. Oh, I'm not a cousin fine. Yes. Oh yeah, I was definitely gonna get beat up. Like, no, 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 no. You can talk to any of the rest of them, but like
That's not gonna
not Miss
happen.
Nigeria. Like, I was like, I read the room. I'm like, you know what? You're probably right. Like a lot of gorgeous women in there, but somebody needs to, be brave and talk to her. But there's probably a reason why they weren't talking to her. And I didn't have
Security,
sense enough to know.
yeah, yeah, security.
Oh, but good. I mean, with great times though. But I think that bloodlines that are ancient have been crossing, like these paths across the Sahara Desert and paths across the Middle East and up to Lebanon. These paths have been crossing for a long time, right? There's so much history intertwined there. It would be foolish for us to think that paths didn't cross and bloodlines didn't cross and people didn't migrate. It's foolish for us to assume that. But again, it's not so foolish to think that there are facets and there are pieces of history that certain facets of our society don't wish to talk about, don't wish to describe. People don't want you to know. Black people don't want you to know some of the issues in Martin Luther King's personal life. We'd just rather not talk about it. No, what? Right? Uh, People don't want you to know bits of history. We just got tons of white brothers and sisters right now across America just don't want you to even think about whole chunks of American history. Just omit it. Anything bad that ever happened to a black person, let's just omit it because I didn't directly own anyone that was enslaved. Granted, all of my ancestors could have benefited from it or the entire system, as well as everything that was built to ensure but I didn't do it. So let's just omit the whole thing. So people rather like to omit just massive chunks of history, and that's for a variety of different reasons. But um Kanye, not Kanye, what's it? Well, Kanye kicked it off and got Kyrie in trouble, which I do agree with Dave Chappelle. How you say something so bad and Kyrie got in trouble, but Kyrie it's just targeting and buck breaking. I hate to say it, but it's buck breaking. People are like, what's buck breaking?
Yes,
You
define it,
know,
please.
pick
Define
the
that.
biggest, the strong, pick pick the big. It's a little late in the evening, so I'll try and do my best. And keep in mind, for those who know my more intellectual side, I will not give you that technical research definition of, but I'm just gonna break it down. Bug breaking. Pick the biggest, strongest, smartest, the most cunning, has the greatest leadership potential, knows how to move the crowd, but can also unsheathe, take off the vest, unsheathe the sword, and sprint to the thick of the mess. That type of king, not the one that stand on the back of the battlefield and try and only direct traffic, but walk up to the front of the battle, unsheathe the sword, take off the vest, because I don't need this vest, and I'm going to show y'all how I fight. Now come fight with me. Now, if I can break that one, if I can break him, then everybody else will fall in line, especially if you see it. If I can make him say, "Oh, I'm sorry," if I can make him say, forget his name is Kucha Kente and publicly say that my name is Kobe, when I know that's not the name that my father issued me, my mother issued me, or my grandfather issued me, or if I can make you do something, all the rest of them they'll fall in line. I mean, break it down. If I had to go to jail tonight, I got to go ahead and make sure you know who I am, right? I got to break a buck down.
Yeah.
I got to find one that I don't want to catch the wrong one now because I don't want to go down and I don't want to start the most massive war I can't possibly get, but I got to get one, right? Because I got to make sure you know who I am, right? So when we see this in public, I'm sorry. So I'm on a podcast live. My wife just comes walking by. Anyway, um, wild stuff in our house. So it gets late. Kids get sleep. Anyway, so I mean, but if I can break that individual down, if I can put down a Malcolm X in his spirit and everything that he represent whittles away. If I can get someone who uh, is resistant to play this game, right? Because I already, like again, some folks may want to ensure that we see that we don't have value, and by we, black people, people of African descent in this country, don't have the same value, if value at all, for our lives and who we are, our children's lives. So I can show you. I can show you. I can strip you of $1.5 billion in a day. I can strip you of your job. Even if you've won championships and made money, I'll take money out of your pocket. You don't have to always execute. So buck breaking on plantations look like, let me tie the biggest buck to a pole and beat them in front of everyone else, and so everyone else will see it. But like getting a whooping physically and getting it, intellectually or financially or socially, like it's a whooping nonetheless that everyone can see. So I'm trying to make Kyrie, after he's issued the apology, now I want you to say it, boy. That sounds like something off of Mississippi plantation from whatever yesteryear. And my family's from Mississippi. So I'm saying I was gonna say Alabama when I want nobody from Alabama come and said, hey, our plantations are better than Mississippi. Whatever. Right. you know, and people like literally will do it. I swear to God, they'll do it. Right. But no, it's breaking one. I mean, it, what else do we want to call it?
Let me ask you a
Principals
question.
do it at school. Teachers
Let me,
do it. Ooh.
yeah. No, we do. I mean, now you're opening a whole
They,
nother.
try,
You're opening
they
some
tried to
complete.
break me. This is why I got in trouble all my life. They tried to break me, but guess
Yeah.
what? I'm still here and standing. Never was in a GT program. They wanted to spare me. They wanted to. I'm still here,
Listen, the same thing happened
standing.
when I was in boot camp. Same thing happened. At some point in time, if you are excelling in some capacity, or maybe you might be devious, but you still have something about you that draws the crowd in, then they know, like, listen. But the thing is this: but you can't be too crazy. It has to be somebody who that once you check them, you know, you could get the
But
results that you want. Because again, there's some people out there and they couldn't do that with. You know what I'm saying? In the NBA.
crazy, crazy to who though?
But I think it's crazy to the
Every,
person who's trying to do the buck breaking. But
you
you
know what
don't
I'm
want
saying?
somebody who's
But crazy. Like, okay, so here's it. People call Nat Turner crazy. Granted, he did breaking. those white slave owners' houses
He was,
in the middle of
yeah.
the night and hack them to pieces. That did happen.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that didn't happen. It happened. Factual. It is a fact, immutable fact that did occur. But how is that really that crazy?
Yeah, but
When
but
you're
what I mean,
I'm
but what I mean, I'm not talking about like I'm talking about in the sense that if you're gonna pick some, if okay, if you're going if somebody's gonna pick that personality, that person that you're like, okay, this is the person that we're gonna use to check everybody else. What's the criteria? Why Kyrie? There's a lot of people over. There's a lot of people who want it all the time. What was it about Kyrie that was like, oh, let's jump on him? Because first of all, he tweeted a link, said nothing. So if he had tweeted the link and said this is garbage, would they have left him alone? Or if he tweeted the link and said, oh, this is interesting, it's interesting, would that have been a problem?
interested.
Okay,
It would have been a problem.
but the thing is, so my thing is
Garbage, no, but interesting, yes.
interesting.
It'd have been
But
a
the question
problem.
is, what is it about? What what is it about him that made him ideal for the buck breaking?
I know you might think I would say, high profile basketball player and won championships and shoe deals and not. No, it's not. There is nothing distinguishable about him. There is nothing that separates him from me, you, or anyone else. There is no biological or physiological or visual difference and or preference. It is not the tone in his voice. It is not his basketball moves on the court. It is not the amount of melanin in his skin. It is not because he's light skinned, he got curly hair. Colorism is not a fact. It's nothing unique and special. That's the disgusting and grotesque part to this. And I do say grotesque, right? That's the grotesque part, right? And I'm sorry, my voice kind of buckled because his granny say sometimes you have to cry to keep from. You have to laugh to keep from crying.
Crying,
But
yeah.
that's what's really grotesque about it is that it's so widespread and pervasive. It's such a chilling part, an interwoven part into the fabric of our society, right? That it doesn't matter if you are a multi-million dollar world renowned athlete or if you are the most vibrant kid, the highest scoring math kid at a inner city charter school, that the captain of the math team, you still can get it, and you still can get branded with the lionized buck status to be stripped, clipped, and whooped in front of folks. Like it's crazy. It's like lynchings have never had a pattern. Rich blacks didn't get it worse than poor blacks. You know what I'm saying? Like if you owned a store, like the People's, this is what people like. He's like a walking history book. But the People's grocery store there in South Memphis, where the owners were lynched in Memphis, and it wasn't until 100 and some years that people actually tried to attempt to make amends of it. Kids literally got out of school early to go watch the lynching of these young. They had money. It was none distinguishing them from a poor sharecropper who was just walking down the wrong road. So nothing other than we just had to make sure that you know that we can make you dance and sing to our tune. We can embarrass you by pulling one of you from a different state, Texas, move you to another state, Georgia, and run you for Senate against an educated, on the liberal side of things, rather conservative liberal pastor that shepherds the Martin Luther King's former flock, went to Morehouse and all that, and as a man of the people, we can just put a, we can just find a, a gaffed one of you and run you against someone who is just honorable and rather respectful, and damn near make you lose your title and position. Yeah, you know how much money people put behind this sham foolishness with Herschel Walker,
Yeah.
right? That's just showing you that you showing you that's buck breaking. You know how difficult it is for Senator Warnock to the whole notion that you all literally went out in numbers in force and caused a runoff voting for this. Why are we even in the same stratosphere in terms of comparison? It's almost like, again, as I said, when we have to be overqualified for positions. I always said, uh, folks like Obama was overqualified. He had to be the editor of the Harvard Law Review and had to, but like Wes Moore just won the governorship here in Maryland. Oh, yay! I'm like, what more do you all want from him? I mean, he went to Hopkins. He was a Rhodes Scholar. He
Rhodes
was a captain in
Scholar,
the
Captain
Army.
Army.
He fought for the fought for the country. He led men and women in battle. He came back and wrote
Worked in the White
books.
House.
He worked in the White. Like, what more? Like, what more do I need to do to prove to you that I probably can do this thing? And make no mistake about it, should that wrath get targeted at him, they will go for a buck breaking. Because if you think you're gonna be the best among us, we're gonna see. I
Let me
know
ask
what
you this.
somebody's saying. What about Obama?
You know what? Let's not even talk about Obama. So check this out. So this is a thing that I want to play. I want to play something for you, and I'm gonna put just a little snippet of it because I don't want YouTube to copyright and shut us down. But I'm gonna try and see if it actually will play. So and what I want to do here is let's see, is play it. Hold on, what's going on my phone here? I want to play a snippet of some commentary that came from somebody that you're going to be very familiar with. I think we all heard this before, but where are you? And you are right there. So let me see if it will play.
Dropped the ball.
In what way?
I think he should have been suspended. I think Adam should have suspended him. First of all, Adam's Jewish. You can't take my $40 million and insult my religion. If you're going to insult me, you have the right, but I have the right to say, no, you're not going to take my $40 million and insult my religion. I think the NBA, they made a mistake. We have suspended people and fined people who have made homophobic slurs, and that was the right thing to do. I think if you insult the black community, you should be suspended or fined heavily, depending. I saw they did the same thing to the kid in Minnesota this year when he made the gay slur. I think you should get suspended or fined. I think him acknowledging the Alex Jones thing should have happened with that too, because that dude's crazy. And I can't believe that we ain't talking about that. We're talking about this idiot. And when you say, if
So I'm gonna stop right there. So this is Charles Barkley. I'm sure you. I mean, we've all heard this clip, and I had to like play this over and over again. And he said, when you say something about the black community, then he says, depending, then he stopped. Depending on what? I thought it was interesting because you're saying that if you say anything out there, you should be punished for it. But then he said, if you say something about the black community, then he said dependent and then stopped there and moved on to a whole nother angle. So I thought that was very interesting because one of the questions I had was this: is here is a man. He's not a kid. This is not a 20-year-old or 30-year-old. This is a grown man, a grandfather. Somebody who's been in the limelight in the community for at this point in time decades. And he takes the stance that is demonizing of Kyrie, and Shaq comes on right after that and does his thing. That's no different. And I asked myself, would they have said the same thing about Muhammad Ali?
Probably not now, but
But back
again,
then,
people
they were.
plenty of black boxers demonized Muhammad Ali. You know, again, in your own time, how you may be remembered later may be very, very different than your existence during that time. The fact that Malcolm X was on a stamp, Malcolm X
Mm-hmm.
on a United States postal stamp. If Brother Malcolm was still here, I don't think Malcolm would want to be on a postal
No.
stamp. But how you remember it can be very different than your reality. Mansa Musa. Most folks don't see the probably richest person in history. Um, why he's not remembered in that way? Probably for many, many, many reasons. But his reality, certainly how he was during his time, on all accounts, if you can throw Egypt's gold market off for 10 years, what are we talking about here? Like, what are
The
we
man
talking about?
he caused a recession. Just
He
he went on a
caused
trip and caused a recession for 10 years.
he went on a Hajj
Yeah,
let's
straight
call
up.
it what he went on a Hajj to Mecca, and I forgot the number of camels in his entourage, but gold dust was given to the poor people all along the way. He just gave the dust away.
He literally if you saw him, he made you rich. He literally made you rich.
He made you rich just by happening to forget the merchants that were doing business along the way during the Hajj, but just the gold dust he just gave away. Like we don't even understand balling on. We don't understand balling on a level that stretches across continents and that can throw. At the time, Egypt was probably one of the most powerful countries in the world. Can throw the entire gold market off. I mean, Egypt was one of the most powerful countries in the world at that time. But but how do you just make silver more valuable than gold because so much gold? Everybody got it, right? So how you're remembered ultimately by many people, right, may not necessarily be the reality there. So I think that can certainly be the case. So Kyrie may be remembered differently. Who knows? My brother that was kneeling, Kaepernick, may be remembered differently. Who knows? One thing I know, Charles and Shaq, and love Shaq, love just about everything he does. They also have a lot of business relations, endorsements that they have to protect. Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not gonna say Bucks are broken, but I think that they're not they know not to step out there so far. Is one thing about Shaq saying he loved that Glorilla song, and in club that thing hitting, embracing black ratchetness, right? That's one thing. But it's another thing to press upon business relationships that can cost you real lot of money, because you like, I don't want to be stripped of my riches in a day like so and so. So whose lifestyles are comfortable. So
So wait a minute.
it's
So
nothing that I wouldn't expect them to say.
question now. So which was the real book breaking then? Was it Kyrie, or
Oh, that's
were
why
Shaq
this,
and Charles also getting broken? Because I don't know if you heard about
that's
this new.
that
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, brother. I'm like, that's what I said. Like, I'm not gonna quite say buck broken on them, but buck broken, right? I think that's what I said. Like, I'm not gonna quite say buck broken, but buck broken. I'm like, so what we saw was, yeah, y'all gonna get on TV and you gonna make sure you support us and you gonna throw this black man away, even though he ain't really. He just retweeted a film,
He just tweeted
right?
a link. Just a link.
I
That
would
was it.
think that
An Amazon link.
a link to a logical, rational person wouldn't say this is anti. This is why is this? You probably would ask a variety of different questions, starting with why did he send this right here? What is this even about? Like you would ask some questions. It may be interesting or it may be kind of strange or weird, but like the link didn't take you to just like, oh, I hate this. I hate like Nazi salutes or something. Like I'm just saying that.
And the crazy thing is that film was actually shown in Shaq's movie theater. So I'm
It's
just
probably shown in a lot of Jewish owned establishments too, and they probably didn't even know what it was about. Honestly, I hadn't even heard. I keep up with a lot of stuff.
listen.
I didn't even know what it was about. Sometimes
Have you seen
people
it?
just need. I haven't saw it, and I don't have the time to see it. And my thing is, sometimes you drum up this success, and you've given that film a boost that it probably never wouldn't have gotten because now people are like, oh, well, what is everybody talking about? I didn't even know they were talking. What film are they talking about? Jesus Christ! Like, what are we talking about here?
I think
And
it's
a
great.
lot
Yeah,
more people
yeah.
have saw it as a result.
It's funny because I was watching a clip from Mensa Farrakhan, and he was like, he sat down and watched it with his family. And I thought that was interesting because again, so now, how many more black folk are going to watch this? And I'll be honest with you, I purchased it because I was like, I need to see this. So it took me 3 days to watch it, but that joint is long as hell, and I had to cut into parts. But I'm watching the whole entire thing. And I'm looking for the anti-Semitic content of it. And I was like, this is somebody who just said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a visual representation of historical context that I found," and that's all it is. And it's up to the viewer to make a decision for themselves. But I thought
This
it's
is
interesting because again, this for all this is being said, you know, I mean, it's been in
there are
theaters,
in,
which I didn't even know.
there are there are interests to be protected. There are interests to be protected
Yeah,
in the same way the Catholic Church protects certain facets of history. Other powerful entities, like it's in the best interest of certain powerful people, to protect interest. So the level of sensitivity has to be raised if one talks or steps into a certain area because interest must be protected. That's what I said. Like, are we talking about anti, like, sometimes when I say like black people get extra sensitive about, like, what are you talking about? Like, people got to be able to have a regular conversation and just watch stuff that's going to cover. Like, are we really talking about anti-Semitism? Because it is real, right? There is real hate there are people that harm and bad to them. In the same
yeah,
way, there are real live people that hate black people that will do harm to us. Make no mistake about it, they are out there.
yeah.
Mm, are we confusing that with just sending a link? I mean, that just seems a bit of a hard pill for me to swallow. It's almost like when they ran Kevin Hart off from hosting the Oscars because they were trying to say that he is homophobic, and he almost wanted to say homophobic. Oh, I know real live people that are homophobic. I'm not like there's some people that that really treat the gay community, the LGBT plus community, bad and terrible, and do real live harmful, physical, painful, mental, degrading things, and you're trying to lump me in with them, right? And that's kind of what it possibly can feel like. If someone's like, "Yo, I sent a link to a freaking movie. Check it out. It may be interesting. You might find it trash. You might not even look at it. Hell, you might not even have Twitter because I don't. So hell, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't have known shit if y'all hadn't made a big fuss on it. But I think the level of sensitivity. It's like somebody called me a fat bald head black dude. You think I need to be sensitive about the fact that I am an overweight, bald head, black guy? It's true. Right? But everything is bullying these days. Everything is bullying. Everything is anti-blackness. Everything is anti-whiteness. Everything is anti-Asian. Everything is anti-Semitic. Everything is this ultra liberal idea of everything that you say has the potential to offend and do wrong. This is what is drumming up the conservative crazies that are trying to take the country over. And I know on election day, all of the crazies, for the most part, lost their races, right? All of the Trump inspired crazies, election night, they lost their races, but not by much.
Not by much at all.
You got 40, I got 51%, you got 48%. That's half of freaking states and districts that may potentially be in that type of space. Not all, but it's the potential. So what are we talking about here? Right? I think that again, that whole ultra liberal crazy movement that says that everything about these folks is wrong. Just because I disagree with you on 5 issues, don't mean the next 100 issues I'm gonna disagree with you on, right? Hearing people say they're triggered by stuff like Ford F-150s. What are you talking about? You know how many black people drive F-1? What are you talking about? Now, I ain't talking about, with all the flags and all that crazy stuff on the back of it, but I'm just like triggered by F-150. Like, are you serious? So everything is bullying. Everything is anti-Semitic. Everything is like people, like the sensitivity level is so high that we start to equate real life damaging, hateful people with everyday people that may not even understand. Even I don't even think he watched the whole damn movie. Probably, if you said it was long. So when we start confusing those two, I think you're gonna see buck breaking happen more frequently because I don't even have to go after the strongest of them. I just need to break any one of you to stand up and buck up. And you're not even bucking up. You don't even know what are you talking about? I didn't even do anything. I didn't even whistle at the white woman in Mississippi. I didn't even do it. Still got lynched.
So what's the I know this is a very so the question is this, because at the end of the day, I always ask myself, I always think about our children. You got 3 young ones, I got 2. And I ask myself, like, this is clearly something that hasn't just started. It just didn't just start like today. It's historic, And I ask myself, especially my son, and you got a little man too. What does this look like for them? Is it going to be, 20, 30 years from now, you have, Baby Njoku and Baby Tyson sitting, talking, having the conversation and having the exact same conversation. and how do we protect our children from these spaces where, because again, one thing that I think is interesting is this, that I learned from observing, Kyrie and even Charles and Shaq, is once you're giving so much, the power is really the ability for it to be taken away from you.
Comfort,
And
lifestyle,
how do you protect yourself from that in a space
You
where,
can't.
yeah,
You can't. One, quieting the ego is hard. Quieting the ego is hard. Big egos, lifestyles. I have to make sure I maintain. Like quieting the ego is very hard. But ultimately, I don't. I mean, you can't. The only protection, honestly, that I have received has been transgenerational, passed along memories and how of survival. And so I have to try and utilize the educational tools that I've been able to extrapolate from this system that we are participants in, and figure out how to think critically, reason analytically, communicate clearly, and solve problems. And I have to take that transgenerational memory of how my mother and father and grandmother and grandfathers and great grandparents and great great grandparents and folks that were enslaved and folks that were. I have to take those memories of survival and apply those academic skills to figure out how to teach my kids how to navigate. But ultimately, I don't think I can truly keep them safe in that way because, quite frankly, it's hard to get around the notion that we're quite violent, racist, sexist, classist, misogynistic. On top, did I say racist, sexist, classist, misogynistic, violent, oppressive? Like in society, we execute people in movie theaters and grocery stores shopping for strawberry shortcake, and in schools, elementary schools, high schools, colleges. 3 young men were just executed coming from a play at University of Virginia, football players. And one was from Arlington,
yeah.
Tennessee, not far from Memphis, where I grew up. I
So
mean,
that,
it ultimately, we still got a lot of racist folks out there that mean great harm to children that look like me and yours, and some of them are agents of the state. We still have people that look like me and you that are running around hollering out Black Lives Matter, but participating in taking Black lives at astronomical rates. So, protecting my child simply looks like to me trying to teach them how to navigate this space and how to navigate survival in this land this land where we don't really truly have a safe space, because we know that we can be shot in our homes. Our doors can be kicked in by the dope boys, or our doors can be kicked in by the police. We're not safe in suburban spaces. We're not safe in rural spaces. We're not safe in classrooms. So when you said planting your feet in the red sands, when you said that, and well, I don't know if we can rewind a tape back, the look on your
mhm,
face was that I haven't
yeah,
done that in a while, but to do that, I just know I am safe. I am home. I am in this place that when my feet connect to the earth, when the red sand connects to my feet are gonna turn red, and I'm in a place we just don't. At the end of the day, we just don't have that here, right? And I've never experienced it, right? And I can I try and transport myself to the space of someone like you who's like, oh, it's been a while, but like just to be safe. I don't know in this country. I mean, because wealth doesn't is no indicator of safety, not physical, not mental, not social. Certainly, when you're black, it might actually put you in a farther deficit because you think that you can get away with things that you can say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, lose your life or lose $1.5 billion in a day. I
Very
mean,
true.
so
No, very true.
I
Very
don't
true.
I don't know how. I would like to think that, oh yeah, they'll be sitting somewhere, whether it's Barbados, Nigeria, or wherever, and yeah. But in terms of like teaching them, like keeping them safe, and that's my only job in the entire universe. I don't have any other job. I don't work for anyone. Like my whole entire primary purpose is for this silverback to make sure his tribe is all right. And it's just about teaching them how to navigate and teaching them what our ancestors have learned about surviving in a space where there's nowhere where you truly feel safe. And that's a lot that's carrying a lot of weight. It carries a lot of additional stress. But when people say, "Oh, I can't breathe," that whole movement, I was like, "Yo, what are they talking about? What you mean you can't breathe now?" I'm like, I ain't really sure I ever have taken a full big breath. I
Full
took
breath.
one
Yeah.
breath. I took a big one when I was in Barbados that time, and I didn't understand. But like you're talking about just feeling safe in my own homeland, even sitting here in my house at my office. I mean, one no knock warrant is served to the wrong neighbor. I'm I'm stretched out on the dirt. And my wife is
Yeah.
spending my insurance money. She's in a new Escalade, I guess. So I just, it's scary because we don't like to think like that. We don't like to go down that rabbit hole. And certainly, they don't want Shaq or Charles Barkley to say that. But deep down, they know it and they feel the same way. They feel the same way. They might not say it because they have interest to protect. And this whole academic idea of interest convergence is always an interesting thing. People should look it up. Like you don't benefit and move up if you're a black or brown person unless it been also benefits white folks, and they're able to move up further, and you only move up so much, but you move up over the rest. Like interest convergence, right? They have interest to protect, but they feel the same way, especially they got sons. Where you feel safe at? We can do a whole episode on safety. One of the things I want to research after I finish my doctorate is like just that motion safety. Where do you feel? Like. Do you feel safe in your? Again, I got rid of the Volvo, people. I went and got a 2023 Tahoe. Got rid of the Volvo. It was 2018, cracked windshield, a couple other things. But oh, I did get pulled over. I didn't get a ticket, but I did get pulled over.
We talked about that. The benefits of a Volvo. No, ain't nobody gonna pull you over the Volvo.
That was the
The
longest
Tahoe.
time in my life. The longest time that Tahoe is black, right? And the longest time in my life that I got pulled over. So I'm just like, where do we feel safe? I told one of the saddest stories I had in a while is I've been raised really right. Everybody knows my dad's a minister and all this stuff, even though sometimes I clown a bit. But my dad always, like, when people needed help on the side of the road, I couldn't stand it growing up. My dad would like literally stop, help anybody change a tire, do like literally, he was that dude. White lady, not far from my house, stop, flat tire, got whatever, car broken down, and I'm driving, and I was about to stop because I actually got the kids out of the house early, but I was about to stop and help her, and then it dawned on me, nope, my kids are in the car. I could stop, get out of this vehicle, and approach this car. This lady could be spooked and threatened and blow my brains out right there on the spot.
Exactly.
My kids seeing it all. Nope, she might have already called her brother or her uncle or her cousin, and they see me
And
approaching her
and they yeah,
car,
and they pulling up as you're
and
approaching.
they pull up. and then splatter me. Same scenario, shouldn't already call for assistance, and the police happen to pull up the same thing as I approach this car, splatter me. Or any of those groups could have pulled up and she could have been like, "Thank you so much for helping me out." That's happened in the past for the most part. I've helped black women, white women, whoever. Like people have been grateful, thankful. I've never had an issue of had the police pull up when I'm helping out, and and it's the small percent chance that it can happen because it has happened to people.
Yeah.
That I'm like, nah, I can't take this chance because I need to be here for my kids, and then I would want my kids to see that happen, and I wouldn't want to put that burden on any of my very close family members because I know how we are. Like I got to get, like we're not like like things may not get let go, and that just ruins other folks' lives. So I'm just like, where do you feel safe? Like when you can't be a good Samaritan because it could be life threatening for you to be a good Samaritan. That's terrible. That's stress too. When you think about it, that's a whole episode. Like that is real life stress that you're literally going through that because you've been taught to be a good and decent human being and be helpful to people when you can. Women, car broke down. You're a man. You should be able to help. But you can't because there are some real life consequences that are heightened right now that could take you away from your family forever, and that can't happen. So I can't be a good Samaritan. I can't help this woman who needs my help. That's
Bro,
terrible.
bro, you just fucked up my whole entire shit right now because I tried my best
Yeah.
not to think too much. But I'm always thinking. But that question is, where do I feel safe? It doesn't. Listen, I'm looking to this camera to anyone who's watching right now. It doesn't exist in my present condition here in America from day to day. It just doesn't exist. I could walk. Literally, I could walk. I walked into the CVS the other day, early morning because I had the flu and everything. I was like, I gotta get some stuff done. I'm hearing the baby's coughing. It is 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a 24-hour CVS. I'm walking in there, and it's cold outside. I'm taking my hoodie down. I'm zipping like just automatic because I'm like I need them to know I'm not here to rob you. I'm just here to get some medicine.
Right.
I walk into a restaurant with colleagues that are white. I have to make sure that I'm close enough in proximity with them to make sure that we're all part of the party. And I've been in those spaces where I've been ignored or I've been asked, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "No, I'm with them," and I'm the one paying. And like all those spaces where you don't even think about, it, but you become so used to it. It's just the norm. Like you don't make a big deal about it. But then it's funny because in its own way, but this whole notion of bug breaking, it's built. It's like it's built in. It's built. It's
Yeah.
built into our existence. But you gotta watch what you say, how you move, what you do. Because you offend one person, that could mean your life, or at least your livelihood. Crazy.
Yeah. Gotta wear a certain thing. Like when I said, like I wear Jordans. I just don't wear dress shoes and
Yeah, bro,
brogues
you already
anymore.
know.
I
You
just
already
not.
know me.
I know. When I just said like you inspire me, I'm just not gonna do it. My feet are fat. I have a screw in my foot, and I just don't care. I just don't care. But again, um, safety is not a. I mean, it's again. I don't know. I just worry and like about my children and where they will be safe, and I have different worries, obviously, for my daughters, because crime and just the illnesses that are present in this country are just they're almost stifling. Like your daughters can't walk around at night for a different reason. You know what I'm saying? It's stifling. Like so, I guess just that theme of survival and how to again think critically and reason analytically, communicate clearly, and try and solve problems, and survive is something. But I'm like, I again, I can't breathe. I'm not sure that like again taking deep breaths. I don't know. So that's the reason I say it just seems so liberating when you just describe that feet in the red sand,
Yeah.
and I could just imagine just standing there and just taking just a deep inhale and exhale. Shout out Summer Principles Academy and felt sense, and just getting deep and just being able to just take a full breath in and just let go for a second, right? I don't know if I've again from the point in time where I have the earliest memories, it's always been trying to figure out how to survive. And then, the minute you sprout a little chin hair or your voice deepens or you're a bigger kid, you're not seen as a kid if you're a black male. You're seen as a grown man. Circa Emmett Till to Tamir Rice and other Trayvon Martin kids who have been murdered and great harm has been brought to. And all three of those are very different situations. And, you know, I don't know where that type of safety exists. Not for children, not for, you know, adults, males, females. I mean, hell, even if you're just a heterosexual Christian white male, I'm not sure you can feel safe because you can't go to the
Yeah.
movies in school or any of that shit either,
Yeah.
right?
It-
so,
I
so
want to give. I
it's
want to give. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just want to give a quick shout out to brother Solomon. He dropped a quote on a comment on here. He said, "I'm gonna put it on the screen again." And again, this is powerful because we're two men here with children, talking about this. And here's a brother here. He says, "I don't feel safe anywhere. It makes me sad that I will have to have these conversations with my 10-month-old son one day." You know, and
yeah.
it's unfortunately just a reality that that you can't dodge. And I love what you said. I love what you just said about the heterosexual white male as well. Because did you come across? I know you don't spend a lot of time on social media. Because of podcasts and everything. I'm always trying to find content, and I came across this person who is a transgendered. He's a male, so a transgendered female, and he wears these prosthetic breasts that are like I'm talking about like massive, with like gigantic nipples on there. So and he's a teacher. So parents
Uh,
are like what's going on here? And of course the district is like he has the right. He's a transgender. She's transgendered, and she was at a school board meeting trying to put something to present to the school board, and one of the fathers in there who visually looked like a heterosexual white male, and the terror in his face because he's trying to be like, what's going on here? But he also knows that he can't go there, and he's there thinking to himself probably like my child has to be in this classroom, and it's very interesting, because again, who feels safe, and I know we have people who are who need to be protected in our society, but at the same time, it's just like you said, that whole notion of being able to take a breath.
I will tell you now, when they don't feel safe, things can get scary in this country.
Yeah,
When heterosexual, regular Christian white males don't feel safe, things can get interesting. Trumps can get elected very quickly. So, but here's my problem, right? Again, see, that's that like, one, where are the actual real teachers at? The ones that came dressed to the nine and deuce and that had just pride and they pearls that just, and I ain't gonna say they wouldn't flawless, didn't make mistakes, but where the real teachers that like showed up styling, and Miss Pat
you're
Jones,
you're
my
you're you're
favorite.
talking about and I'm going to say this, and if you want to be mad at me, whoever's watching, be mad. I was a principal. My brother, he was a principal too. There was coming up as a kid, what a teacher looked like back then It's very different. The professional. I remember the pearls. I remember the
Yeah.
just to dressed to the T. And I remember being a young black boy in Inglewood looking at my teacher saying that one day I want to be just like you. I wasn't saying I wanted to be Jordan. I wasn't saying I wanted to be Magic. I was like, I'm trying to be just like Dr. Searles. Like that, Mr. Searles was just the man. My geometry teacher, the way he moved, the swag he had, and then he was teaching us geometry. I'm like, dude, one day I'm gonna be just like Mr. Searles. And Mr. Searles, if you're watching this, Dr. Searles now, you're one of the reasons I became an educator. Thank you.
It's maddening. Now, I know somebody will say that what I'm about to say is a attack on the transgender community. It is not. I ran a boys' school in Baltimore, where all of my kids came from inner city Baltimore. I think I was the first person. I don't even know how many principals, and it'd be interesting to do a study to see how many principals actually hire transgender teachers. Because I always say when people are talking about how do you make spaces more inclusive and well, you welcome people into your space first of all, right? And I talked about, I think on a previous podcast, when I hired my first transgender teacher, I was excited. I was principal. Like my boss thought I had lost my mind because he was like, "Oh, I thought I had a football playing bravado male, the lionized leader of the male, this hyper alpha, and I'm definitely an alpha male, not A5A. Sorry, not anything. Yes, I wasn't suited for fraternities, and anyway." Well, I guess I'm in a fraternal organization. Yeah. Shout out for all my brothers traveling to the east, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a I don't know. He was thoroughly disappointed, and he was just shocked. I hired a transgender teacher. What's going to happen with our boys?
Nothing.
Well, I had already had plenty of gay teachers, but I'm like nothing. They're gonna sit down. They're gonna learn to respect him, and we will continue rolling. And that's what happened, right?
And that's the thing
I,
about
I think I think at school I think I hired two. Like I don't even know how many principals are willing to even take that risk. Let alone I'm talking about a boys' school, but principals take that risk, and they say they're all extra liberal and all that. Oh, but I'm like, but you not finna come into my space with no huge fake Dolly Parton balloon bag things with like professionalism. I don't care who you are, male, female, black, white, Asian, tall, skinny, fat, gay, straight. Like, no, you're gonna have to come in my school. People used to come in my school and say, "Oh, from the central office, no joke. Oh, we feel underdressed." You damn right you feel underdressed. Because we clean in here, right? Why would you want to bring your trashy look or your worst look forward to these promising jewels that are in front of you? Right? I want to put my best foot forward. I want you to, I always kids say, I want to be like you. No, I want you to be better than me. And right.
exactly.
So I want you to feel underdressed, but like, no, you're not finna bring just anything. It don't matter who you are. Like, and no, like that's too far. Like if you're coming to a school board meeting, you're coming to a professional environment, you need to actually try and make sure. And I ain't saying you got to go all full European suit. Like I don't care if you decide you're gonna wear a sarong, a kimono, whatever you're gonna, but like something that one could deem in some type of way. I'm not even worried about offensive, but appropriate or something that that folks can have their family around. And if you're a stripper, ain't nothing wrong with being a stripper because plenty of people don't pay their bills and put folks through school and put folks through medical school and put kids through whatever, doing what they had to do. Right. So I ain't gonna never be down on anybody to do what they gotta do. Period. Right. Poverty makes people crazy, is one of my classmates
Exactly.
who's the principal in the Bronx reminded me. Poverty makes people crazy. He said that in class. I said, that brother's a genius. I said, you know, because it does. So, but like even my parents that were strippers, they would at least they would make an effort to make sure they were at the school appropriately because, again, it's kids' family business. So I don't subscribe to teachers coming to school and looking like you just not coming from the club or something. Yeah, on dress down day, do dress down day, but you got a big old ass. Come on. You can't be up in school with no booty shorts and think, oh, this testosterone in there, one of them little boys ain't gonna mess around and lose. Even if we can get 98% on to contain their testosterone throughout the day with just regular stuff. A big old juice will suck the probability that somebody is going to act out. It's just too high. Why take that chance? I'm not saying if they do, they will be wrong. That's not what I'm saying. They still will be wrong. There will be consequences to be had. And you are also wrong for coming up in here like that. This is work. This is not personal. They didn't meet you at the park. They didn't see you at the park or at the mall. This is your job. You need to act like a professional. You want to be taken seriously. You want to be paid like a professional. You want to be treated like a professional. You need to come and be a professional. And that doesn't mean you just need to have whatever European style or completely conform to that, but you do need to conduct yourself as a professional. Exactly. And that's what I'll say. And that extends to my transgenders, brothers and sisters, my gay brothers and sisters, and whoever else.
Professionalism is
and I'm not
beyond your appearance. Yeah.
I'm not gonna change my mind on that. So if somebody's just upset with it, they just upset with it. But I believe that you should conduct yourself like a professional, and you should make sure that you are making sure that your kids know who you are and that you're not. Yeah, I'm just not willing to entertain or endorse foolishness. And like even if you are a cisgender female, you're not finna come to you're not coming to my school with all that cleavage hanging out. No.
Listen, I've sent many a teachers home over the course of my career. To go home and change.
And I've sent mail, so you're not finna come in no hoochie daddy shorts in no gym class. You better find you some different shorts to put on. No, you're not coming with these gray sweatpants.
I had a teacher who decided to come to school looking like he was casting for Rocky. With the sweatshirt sleeves cut,
with
the collar ripped off. And I was like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, he looked at me like, what's wrong? It's just a shirt. I'm like, my brother, come on now. Did you just walk out the gym like from 1985? He got mad. Hey. I was like, yo, I'm sorry, you gotta go home. And if you go home and change, and I'm sorry, you're gonna lose the hours because again, this is not professional. You know what I'm saying? That's not professional. I mean, I can see your armpit hairs coming out from the sweatshirt that's ripped. I mean, like, come on, bro.
Now, again, if you were in the gym and you changed and you played basketball with the boys or whatever, but you ain't finna be around the high school girls all day long with your muscles all out, your armpit, your chest hair showing, all that. You're not finna be around them all day. Boy, it's musk in there. It's scent in there. I'm talking about little hot tail girl running around here and you run around here like that. Man, listen, I'm not setting you up for success. Just to be honest. Even if you not in the young girls or you're not, I'm still not setting you up for success, period. And I'm not protecting my students. So no, you need to put on a shirt. I ain't saying it's got to be a full dress button down. I'm not saying it's got to be a polo shirt, but you can put on a t-shirt and a blazer, a nice t-shirt and a blazer. You can put on a turtleneck with a blazer. I ain't gonna be wearing no tight muscle shirt. You can put on I put on dashiki someday. That's how I started going to the district meetings before I left my last position. I go all down there every time I show. They're like, oh, that's a nice dashiki. Yeah. You just didn't decide to wear a jacket. Nope, that is my dress. That is my dress. All right, cool. That's whatever. However you want to wear a kimono, whatever. What I'm saying is, don't come up in here with everything. No, you're not wearing gray sweatpants walking around school all day long.
I had to send somebody home with that too.
No, we're not doing that. Period.
That was one of those awkward situations. I had a teacher who I was like, in my office. I'm like, you got to go home. He's like, Mr. Joke, what happened? I'm like, bro, really, bro? Gray sweatpants? And not only that, bro, come on. He's looking at me like, oh, my bad, yo. I was rushing out the house. I'm like, yo, come on. And
No,
this
come
man,
on,
and I was
bro.
like, this is a grown man. A grown
Grown
man.
man. You walking around. You had high school, so that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not protecting my kid. Like I look at all of my all of. If you're trusting your child with me, that's my son and that's my daughter.
Exactly.
So and I need to protect them for and again, like all teachers ain't just like all cops ain't good, all teachers ain't good. So there's some jokers that's definitely in there that's definitely that way, and there's some ladies in there that's definitely that way too. And you have to be on the lookout for that as well. And so you're just not finna. I'm not gonna set you up for success, and I'm gonna lead by example. So um, I don't know, but I think that
No, go
I
ahead,
don't
go
know,
ahead.
man.
So,
Yeah, I just think that again, it's dangerous. It's dangerous out here. If the super crazy, super left liberal side continues to push this super right side, that doesn't spell out a recipe for good things.
yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
So this evening we had I love the way the conversation connected because my thing is always at the end of the day, my heart is always going to be as an educator with the kids, and it's also super emphasized now as a father of young ones who are, I have a 2.5-year-old and a 4-year-old who, God willing, I'm going to be able to see their trajectory through their education, and just trying to make sure that this platform also helps to feed people ideas and thought processes that really help them. Whether you're an educator, whether you are an ally of education, whether you are just, somebody just who stumbled in here and has nieces and nephews. How is what's happening in society impacting them? Because at the end of the day, nothing is new under the sun. But the things that keep happening, it's kind of a revolving door. At some point in time, our children might have to go through that door. And my question is always going to be, what are we doing to give them the tools to be able to better manage it than we did, than our parents did, than our grandparents did, so that at least we're making some movement towards a better space. And I am definitely touched deeply, the more and more I think about what Brother Archie said about, my comment earlier about needing, I need to be in Nigeria. And all I want to do is just literally take my shoes off and just stand in the dirt. Igbo land is surrounded with that red clay sand. And that's something is just part of the reality of our soil. And for me, it's something that it's like crack for me right now. I'm just like, I need that right now. It's like, bro, I need that right now. But then it's funny because I know that many of my brothers and sisters need the exact same thing. That sense of, let me tell you one, listen, I know I'm trying to wrap up here, but I just gotta say this. There's a feeling that I have when I get on that plane, fly. You get to let's say you're leaving JFK. You get on that plane. It's a few Nigerians. It's a few, and you know where they're going. It's a few. No, it's a few Africans on there. You know where they're going. Because my flight might say, okay, you're gonna go to Heathrow. Then from Heathrow, you might be in Hamburg, Germany, or wherever. But as that flight gets closer and closer, that flight gets blacker and blacker. By the time you lift your flight out of Germany, heading into Africa, that whole entire plane is black. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to the airport. Yes, the senses, the smells, the sounds. But the one thing that you know for a fact is that, or maybe you don't even know it, but you feel it. You are no longer a standout. And sometimes I get tired of being a standout, knowing that everyone can see me. But to be in a space where you look around and everybody looks like you or different shades of you, and it's like we're all, and it doesn't matter what tribe you are. Because that's the other thing too that's dope. Because when you go to Nigeria, or a lot of West African countries, the diversity of people. So at no point in time do you feel like, oh my God, I'm the American here, or whatever the case may be, because we're talking about Nigeria alone has 200 languages. Think about that. 200 languages, not dialects, languages. So to be in a space where safety is not even a question. You just know you're good. And if you are unsafe, it's for the same normal stuff. It's for the same normal stuff that any other Nigerian might feel unsafe about. But it's not because of the color of your skin. It's not because you're a male. It's not because you're from this hood or that hood or you're blood or you're a Crip or whatever the case may be. There's a sense of just being that I think we all need to experience. And in all reality, it shouldn't be an experience. It should just be a reality. So, Archie, what you got to say to wrap this up?
I think you summed it up. Sometimes it's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
I mean, leave well enough alone, as my dear old grandma said.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time this evening. We went a little bit over, but when the flow is flowing, you know what I'm saying, you don't break that. You let it ride as far as it goes. I want to thank you again for those of you who are here with us this evening. Those of you who are watching the replay, please make sure you like, subscribe, join, hit the notification bell so whenever we're on again, you get that message. And I want to thank my brother Archie again for joining me, in this experiment of the Ivy League Hoodrats. And till next time, I'll see you next Wednesday at 10 p.m. And those of you who are down for Teacher Therapy Fridays, that's also at 10 p.m. We're just talking about stuff, education, classroom, and just helping teachers get into a better space. Then again, on Sundays, 10 p.m., we're talking about just what's in the news in education. And with that being said, thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you all soon, all right? Peace.
And now he's been promoted. His job, principal.